Не знаете, как проехать в Кишлак-Катаган? Езжайте прямо. Кишлак-Катаган, расположенный в пригороде Душанбе.
Katagan isn't far from the Tajik capital Dushanbe, but it feels like the middle of nowhere. The roads are bumpy and little shops made of plywood and cardboard line the streets. There are few brick houses here. Most of the homes are mud huts with grey slate roofs. Umed is a 28-year-old farmer who we met at the train station as he was planning his trip to Russia. He was waiting for us at the local mosque and invited us to his home, surrounded by flowers and fruit trees. Almost his entire family was already gathered there. His mother, aunt, brothers, nephews and even neighbors. Umed was leaving again, this time to Sochi in southern Russia, to build houses. He was in no mood to celebrate.
Чувствую себя неважно, тоскливо. Я же вынужден ехать. Если бы не нужда, разве поехал бы в такую даль? Дело даже не в России, там хорошо. Но разве не лучше дома работать?
Umed's parents decided not to arrange a big send-off, but settled for tea with their family. His sister baked some bread for him and his mother gave him soup packets and a dozen boiled eggs. These were his only food supplies for the 4-day trip. In order to save money, the family didn't ask the local mullah to recite the farewell prayer. Instead, the prayer was read by Umed's 15-year-old nephew, Alisher, who taught himself how to recite. Umed has worked in Russia on and off since he was 12. But his mother, Fairuza, a school teacher, can't help but worry every time he leaves home.
Конечно же, переживаю. Недавно женила его. Кто знает, что его там ждет? Есть работа, нету работы. В России они теряют здоровье, там ведь холодно.
Fairuza's neighbor Sairi has similar concerns about her large family. All 6 of her sons are in Russia. Fairuza is obviously proud of her son Umed, but Sairi feels deeply hurt by her children living abroad.
Один из моих сыновей журналист, другой закончил институт искусств. Все мои дети с образованием, но от них ни слуху, ни духу, ни денег. Одного избили и искалечили. Он там в больницу попал. Ну как я себя должна чувствовать? Вот с этой болью и живу.
To buy tickets for the Dushanbe-Moscow train just a few years ago was virtually impossible. Travelers had to line up all night in order to reach the ticket window by morning and grab a $200 ticket for a spot in a train. At times the police had to use their batons to keep the young men in line from storming the ticket office. Airplane tickets were twice as expensive a few years ago, and the trains to Russia were always overcrowded, with 800 or even 1,000 passengers on board, recalls ticket agent Saudat Babakulova.
Не представляете, что здесь творилось? Во-первых, закрывали рейсы, не пропускали наши поезда, здесь было столпотворение. У нас просто долго не ездили поезда, вы понимаете? И скопление пассажиров было невероятно большим. Это ведь со всех точек нашей республики собирались люди здесь, чтобы уехать в Москву, понимаете? И поэтому мы не успевали отправить, а желающих было очень много.
Альхамдулиллахи раббил аламин, ар-рахманир рахим.
But this summer, the main hall of the Dushanbe train station is free of crowds. During the economic crisis, the number of travelers has dropped dramatically. But even with fewer passengers, the departure of the Dushanbe-Moscow train is always a big event for the Tajik railway. Almost the entire management comes to the platform for the 3 a.m. departure, when the rest of the city is still asleep. The train station's director, Zamira Samidova, is always there to see off the train to Moscow.
Каждый раз, когда он отъезжает, у меня что-то происходит, я не могу это объяснить. Это чувство боли или чувство тревоги, это все равно кое-кто из них возвращается, кто не возвращается, у кого как дела складываются. Допустим, я не знаю, я каждый раз с переживанием отправляю этот состав.
This time the travelers include Jamshed, the teacher, Gulbanur, a cook, and Umed, a farmer. All quietly went through the police check, customs and border checkpoints and headed to their carriages. Only Mohammed Ali had a bit of trouble. He was carrying 2 large sacks of noose, a dry chewing tobacco. When the customs officers opened his luggage, an awful stench overpowered the entire train station, and the customs officers immediately confiscated his supply. Mohammed Ali was very upset, but he went ahead and boarded the train. 40-year-old Jamshed, a father of 3 from the village of Dukani, is going to Bryansk for construction work. 30-year-old Gulia, a mother of 4, is heading to Orekhovo-Zuyeva, a suburb of Moscow, where she has been working as a chef in a restaurant. Over the next 4 days, we will travel together through Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan and Kazakhstan on the way to the Kazansky rail station in Moscow. In the next section, we will discover some of the hardships of the journey.